You snakes betrayed me, Santa Jackson shouted, her voice shaking with anger. The hot, heavy air of the savannah carried her cry. Her big, pregnant belly showed she was close to having a baby, but right now, her heart was breaking. It happened in the dark carriage house behind her grandmother's big old house by the river. Santa had just seen something terrible. Her husband, Kieran Reed, holding and whispering to her adoptive sister, Lilith Harper. They were laughing in a way that made her feel sick inside. They were not just betraying her love, they were planning to take away her family's property and her restaurant. Now, outside, the big family party was still going on. Music, laughter, and the smell of food filled the air. Nobody knew what had just happened. Santa was 6 months pregnant and wore a pretty flower dress. She smiled at people, but it was a fake smile to hide the hurt. Today was supposed to be a happy day. Her soul food restaurant had just been named the best in Savannah. People had gathered to celebrate, but the picture of Kieran and Lilith in the carriage house kept coming back into her mind. Miss Ruth, a kind neighbor, called out, "Miss Solara, these collard greens are amazing!" Santa smiled and said warmly, "You taught me the secret, Miss Ruth." Her hands stayed steady as she carried cornbread, but inside she felt like crying. Her grandmother, Esther, was sitting in a wicker chair watching everything. She was 70 years old, wise and strong. "You holding up, baby?" she asked quietly. "I'm just tired, Nana." "The baby's moving a lot," Santa said, but that wasn't the real reason she looked upset. Across the yard, Kieran, her husband of 3 years, was talking to people like nothing was wrong. He raised his glass of sweet tea and smiled. "Folks, Santa's restaurant is just the start. We're building something big." Everyone clapped and cheered, not knowing he was lying. Lilith, Santa's sister by adoption, was nearby, arranging flowers. She smiled, but her eyes kept looking at Kieran. Santa noticed the silent way they connected. Jasper Tate, her tall, skinny cook, came over with a platter of fried okra. His smile faded when he saw her face. "Boss, you okay?" he whispered. "I'm fine," she lied, but she knew he had seen something. The band started playing a happy tune, couples began dancing, and children ran around chasing fireflies. Santa thought of when she and Lilith were kids, sitting in this same yard and sharing dreams. Lilith had been like a real sister to her. That's why the betrayal hurt so much. Santa touched her belly. We'll get through this, little one," she whispered. Esther called her over again. "Something's wrong, child. I can see it in your eyes." "It's nothing, Nana, just the heat," Santa said, smiling weakly. "You're stronger than you know," Esther told her. Then Kieran walked up and put his arm around Santa's waist. "You're stealing the show, darling," he said. Santa forced a small smile. "Just doing my part," she replied. Lilith joined them with a too bright laugh. "Solara, this party's perfect. You're a natural." Jasper stood nearby, watching. Santa looked at him, and he nodded slightly. He had seen enough to act. As the band played and people laughed, Santa felt herself change inside. She was no longer just sad, she was ready to fight back. The night went on. Kieran moved toward the riverbank, laughing. Lilith stayed near the dessert table, touching the cobbler dish. Santa saw their quick glances and little touches. Jasper came back and leaned close. "I saw them in the carriage house talking about taking your restaurant and the estate. I took a picture," he said. "Send it to me," she whispered. She stepped behind some tall flowers and opened the message. The photo appeared, Kieran holding Lilith, her face close to his ear. Memories hit her hard. Kieran saying he was working late, Lilith writing bad reviews about her restaurant while praising others. She had defended both of them so many times. Santa put her phone away. She couldn't blow up now. She needed a plan. Esther called her again. "You're distracted, girl. Spill it." "It's just the baby kicking a lot." Santa lied again. Esther looked toward Kieran and Lilith. "That man of yours is smiling too wide tonight, and she looks like a cat that got the cream," she said. Jasper refilled Esther's tea, glancing at Santa with concern before walking away. Now Santa knew. She couldn't just let this go. She needed to confront them smartly, not in a rush. The band slowed down to a softer song. Couples danced under the lights. Santa walked toward the carriage house. Kieran and Lilith were there again, talking closely. Jasper followed quietly, waiting for her signal. She wanted more than a photo. She wanted their voices, their confession. This was about more than her. It was for her baby, for her grandmother's legacy, for the restaurant. From her seat, Esther watched her granddaughter with both worry and pride. Santa felt that strength. She knew tonight would change everything. Far-off fireworks lit the sky. Santa's heart pounded. She was ready to fight back, to cut away the lies like a chef carving meat. What would they confess? How far did their plan go? Soon, she would find out. Subscribe for every exciting turn and write in the comments where you are reading from and what time it is. Get ready for what Solara will do next. Fireworks were popping far away in the night sky, but Solara Jackson's heart was beating much louder. The picture of Kieran and Lilith hugging was stuck in her mind like a hot burn. She walked through the crowd at the barbecue, the smell of smoked ribs still hung in the air. Her floral dress swayed in the warm breeze as she went toward the kitchen of the big estate. In her pocket was Jasper's text, with the photo that showed her husband and her adoptive sister together. It felt like a burning coal against her leg. She needed to be alone for a moment to think about what she had just learned. This was not just about her broken heart. It was about her little daughter, Zenobia, and her future. It was about her restaurant, the one she had worked so hard to build. It was about the home Esther had fought to keep safe. The happy laughter of guests now felt like a cruel joke. Every smiling face seemed to be hiding secrets. In the kitchen, the clatter of pots and the soft hum of the fridge made the place feel safe for a moment. Solara leaned on the counter, holding a chef's knife. The cool handle helped her stop her shaking hands. She closed her eyes and remembered all the strange things Kieran had done. Late-night meetings with weak excuses. She remembered Lilith's reviews, which always praised other chefs while quietly making Solara's cooking sound less special. How could I not see it, Solara thought. 4 years married to Kieran, a lifetime knowing Lilith as a sister by choice, and yet they had been planning against her. Zenobia kicked in her belly and Solara whispered, "I'll protect you, baby, no matter what." Her voice was strong, full of steel. Jasper came into the kitchen. His apron was messy, and his face showed worry. "Solara, you okay? You look like you're about to cut more than meat," he joked, but it wasn't funny. His hazel eyes searched her face. She set the knife down. "That photo, Seb. What else did you hear?" He checked the door, then spoke quietly. "They were talking about your restaurant and the estate. Kieran said something about using Esther's land for a loan. Lilith was laughing about how you'd never guess." Solara's stomach turned. Her restaurant wasn't just in danger. It was the prize they wanted. "They're planning to take it all," she whispered. "Send me that photo now." Jasper quickly pulled out his phone. "Done. What's your plan, boss?" "I need more than pictures," Solara said. "I need their own words. A confession I can use." She checked her phone. The recorder was ready. "You're going to face them now?" Jasper asked. "Not in front of everyone," she said, thinking fast. "I'll get them alone. Make them talk. I need you to watch." "Always," he said firmly, and left. Solara looked out the window. Kieran was smiling and toasting a guest. Lilith was near the van, laughing too loudly. Solara breathed slowly, forcing herself to think like the careful chef she was. She would invite them to the carriage house for a private toast and let their own words trap them. Zenobia kicked again. This wasn't only about Solara's feelings. It was about her daughter's future and Esther's legacy. Esther suddenly appeared in the kitchen doorway. Her silver braids shined in the light. "Child, you're hiding in here like a storm's coming." Solara smiled weakly. "Just checking supplies, Nana." Esther's sharp eyes saw through it. "You can't fool me. Is it Kieran or that Lilith girl?" The names hurt to hear, but Solara held her gaze. I'll handle it, Nana. Trust me. Esther touched her cheek. I do, but don't carry this alone. The warmth of her touch nearly broke Solara's strength, but she nodded. Outside, the music changed to a slow, soulful song. This was her moment. She texted Kieran and Lilith, "Meet me at the carriage house. Need to talk privately." Her heart thumped. The trap was set. Jasper gave her a small nod from across the lawn. She walked into the night air, which felt full of electricity. The fireworks far away were like a hint of the explosion she was about to cause. The carriage house stood ahead, its old wood dark against the glowing party lights. Her phone was in her pocket, recording and ready. This was the most important dish she'd ever prepare. Not food, but justice. Kieran came in first, smiling, but his smile dropped when he saw her face. "Solara, what's this about?" Lilith followed, her hair catching the dim light. "Everything okay, sis?" she asked sweetly. "No," Solara said firmly. "Nothing is okay. I know about you too. I saw you." Kieran's face turned pale. "Saw what? You're overreacting." Lilith laughed nervously. "You're imagining things. We were just talking." Solara's eyes narrowed. "Talking about stealing my restaurant, talking about using Nana's land for your loan, and talking about my baby like she was a bargaining chip." Kieran flinched. Lilith's smile faded. "Explain," Solara demanded. Kieran lifted his hands. "It's not what you think. We were just thinking of business ideas." Solara showed the photo. "This isn't brainstorming. This is betrayal." Lilith's face crumpled, then sharpened with jealousy. "You're always the star chef, the community's favorite. You never saw what I could do." Kieran tried again. "Think of the baby, Solara. We can keep this quiet." "Don't you dare bring my child into this," she snapped. "You called her leverage to get Nana's land." Lilith suddenly realized she was being recorded. "You're recording?" "Damn right I am. Keep talking." Kieran burst out. "You don't get it. Your restaurant's a gold mine, but you're too soft. Lilith and I could make it big." Solara laughed coldly. "My little kitchen built this family's pride. You're nothing without it." Lilith hissed. "You're blind, always trusting. We deserve more than scraps." Their words spilled out, every single one caught on Solara's recording. The door creaked and Jasper appeared. "Everything good, boss?" "We're done here," Solara said, turning off the recording. "You'll hear from me soon, just not how you hope." She left them standing in the dim light, their voices now silent. The party music outside was loud again, but Zenobia's strong kick reminded her she was not alone. Jasper asked quietly, "Got what you needed?" "More than enough," she said. "Stay close." She stepped into the night. Esther's eyes caught hers across the lawn. Solara nodded, promising answers soon. This wouldn't be shouted out for everyone to hear. It would be delivered with precision. She moved toward Esther, who sat like a queen in her wicker chair. "Nana, I need you," Solara whispered. Esther's eyes sharpened. "What's happened, child?" "Not here," Solara said. "The study." Esther stood and called for Corey, Daff the local baker and Solara's friend, to join them. Jasper followed close. In the study, Solara played the recording. Kieran's cold voice filled the room. "Your restaurant's a gold mine." Lilith's voice followed. "We deserve more than your scraps." Esther's face hardened. Corey gasped. "How could they?" she whispered. "They thought I wouldn't notice," Solara said. Esther stood, anger in her voice. "They dared to use my land and my girl's heart. We end this now." "Not tonight, Nana." Solara said calmly. "I won't let them ruin your evening." She explained her plan to share the recording with important people in the community so Kieran and Lilith's scheme would collapse quietly but completely. Esther nodded proudly. "You're playing it smart, Solara, like your mama would have." Corey squeezed her hand. "I'll get the elders." Jasper stood by the door and said, "I'll watch. I'll make sure those two don't run away." His loyalty made Solara feel strong as she got ready for what was coming. They went back to the party. Solara smiled, but it was a fake smile. She walked around serving sweet tea, while Corey quietly told the important people to gather in one place. Kieran was still laughing and talking to some shopkeepers, acting all friendly. His arm brushed against Lilith's as she stayed close to him. They didn't know Solara had found out their secret. That was her advantage. Solara looked at them with cold eyes. Kieran saw her stare and his smile trembled. Lilith held her glass tighter, sensing something was wrong. Solara turned away. Her heart was beating fast, but she was determined. Under the big oak trees, she played a recording for the elders. Miss Ruth's face went sad. "That boy tricked us all," she whispered. Mr. Tate shook his head. And Lilith, well, the elders agreed her behavior was shameful. Pastor Evans put a hand on Solara's shoulder. "We're with you, child. They won't hurt your family's name." The elders all agreed. Kieran and Lilith would be quietly pushed out of the community. No yelling, no public fight, just silence and rejection. Solara felt lighter. She turned back to the party and raised her glass. "To this family, this community, and the future we are building." The guests cheered, not knowing what had just happened. But Esther gave her a proud nod. Kieran and Lilith felt the change. They started to sneak away toward the lawn's edge. Their faces were pale. Jasper stopped them. "You should go. People know now." They left quickly, disappearing into the night. Solara stood with Esther, Corey, and the elders. Music played, people danced, and the lights glowed. Solara put a hand on her belly and smiled. "We're free, baby," she whispered to her unborn daughter, Zenobia. The elders left one by one, their words of support still warm in her heart. Solara stood with Esther under the oak trees as the party slowed down. The recording in her phone had saved her. Kieran and Lilith were gone, but her heart still ached. Zenobia's kicks were softer now, as if she knew her mother was tired. Still, the community's promise to protect her restaurant and Esther's land was comforting. Solara hugged her grandmother. "We did it, Nana," she said with tears in her eyes. "You did it, child," Esther replied. "Now we rebuild." The rest of the night passed in a blur. Solara kept smiling and hugging people as they left. Corey stayed by her side. "You're not alone in this," she told her. Jasper cleared tables and stacked chairs but kept checking on Solara. "Boss, sit down. I've got this," he said. Solara sat, her dress wrinkled, thinking about Lilith's cruel words. "We deserve more than your scraps." It hurt the most because she had loved Lilith like a sister. They had grown up together in this yard, sharing dreams over pie. Kieran's words echoed too. "You're too soft." Soft? No, she was strong, like the collard greens that grew in hard soil. Esther joined her, with Corey and Jasper close by. The music stopped, leaving only crickets and the sound of the river. "Tell me everything," Esther said. Solara told them about the plan Kieran and Lilith had made to take her restaurant and use the estate as payment. Esther listened carefully. "That boy never fooled me," she said. "And Lilith, jealousy is poison. I raised her like my own after her parents died, but betrayal ends family ties." Solara's eyes filled with tears. "I thought we were sisters," she whispered. "You've got real family here," Corey said, holding her shoulder. "Me, Seb, and Nana, we won't let you fall." Jasper spoke too. "I suspected Lilith for months. She always wrote bad reviews about your food and tried to lift up other places. I even saw her asking suppliers strange questions." He showed them emails he had saved, proof of her sabotage. Esther nodded. "Your parents faced worse. People doubted a black couple could succeed here, but they built this land and this legacy. You are their echo, Solara, stronger because of the storms." They shared stories about her parents, her mother's recipes, her father's hard work to buy the land. Zenobia kicked gently, as if she was listening too. They moved to the porch. Corey brought leftover cobbler. "Eat, Solara, for you and the baby." Talk turned to the future. "The community's with you," Jasper said. "Mr. Tate is already telling people not to support anything Kieran tries. Pastor Evans will spread the word." "I need to make the restaurant bigger. Untouchable," Solara said. Corey smiled. "We can also make a community kitchen for young people. Teach them your recipes. I'll do baking classes." Esther beamed. "That's my girl." "Turn poison into purpose," Jasper agreed. "I'll train them in cooking." Under the stars, the plan grew. Solara felt lighter, safe in their love. Kieran's texts buzzed in her pocket. Please forgive me, but she ignored them. Lilith stayed silent. Zenobia kicked again. We'll build something beautiful, baby, Solara whispered. As the first light of dawn touched the sky, Esther hugged her. Rest now. Tomorrow we fight. The barbecue was over. Empty plates and fading lights marked an end, but also a new beginning. In the morning, Solara sat on the porch wearing a loose sweater. Zenobia moved inside her belly, ready for the day. The recording had gotten rid of Kieran and Lilith. Esther's words turned poison into purpose, gave her energy to build something lasting. In the kitchen, Esther, Corey, and Jasper sat around the table. Jasper brought a sketch pad. Got ideas for the youth program? He showed them plans for cooking classes, mentors, and a garden. Corey added, I'll teach them pies, biscuits, make it feel like family. We'll fund it ourselves, Solara said. No loans, no outsiders. Esther smiled. Your parents would be proud. By mid-morning, Solara went to her restaurant. The staff hugged her and told her she was their queen. She met with her accountant to set money aside for the kitchen. Corey brought paint swatches for the warehouse they'd use, bright yellow walls to make it feel warm. Jasper checked the place. Needs work, but we can start small. Solara decided to name it Lena's Kitchen, after her mama. She also planned a nursery in her new apartment. Corey suggested star stickers for the ceiling. Esther called to say lawyers had locked the estate tight. Kieran couldn't touch it. Kieran stopped texting, and Lilith had left town in shame. The restaurant was busier than ever. Let him watch, Solara laughed. Every plate is a win. That evening, she stood outside the warehouse, feeling the breeze. Esther joined her. This kitchen will feed souls, not just mouths, Esther said. For Mama, for Zenobia, Solara whispered. Later, the warehouse was full of young people cooking her mother's cornbread recipe. Yellow walls, shiny counters, shelves of spices. The room was alive. The betrayal was gone, replaced with hope. Jasper followed Solara into the apartment. He was carrying a bottle of sparkling apple cider. His smile was big after spending the day teaching kids how to cut vegetables safely at Lena's Kitchen. Those kids cooked amazing gumbo today, boss, he said, putting the bottle on the table. Solara laughed and touched her round belly. Thanks to you, Seb. You're a natural teacher. The apartment felt warm and cozy. Soft lights glowed, and the nursery door was a little open. Inside, there were shiny star stickers on the ceiling and a crib ready for baby Zenobia. This was Solara's safe place, built with love, far away from the bad memories of the old family estate. They sat around the table, eating plates full of food from the kitchen's practice day, collard greens, ribs, and sweet pie. Esther raised her glass of cider and said warmly, to Solara, who turned a storm into sunshine. The glasses clinked together. Solara felt tears in her eyes, not from sadness, but from thankfulness. I couldn't have done it without all of you, she said with a thick voice. Corey squeezed her hand. We're family, Solara. Real family. Jasper nodded with his hazel eyes shining. Lena's Kitchen is doing great. 10 kids have signed up for next week. You've built something strong that can't be broken. Solara smiled, remembering the first cooking class. She saw in her mind the excited faces of teenagers learning to make a perfect roux for gumbo. Their pride was the same pride she felt when she went from feeling unsure to feeling powerful. Then Esther slid an old cookbook across the table. The cover had faded gold letters. This was your mama's, Esther said softly. She wrote recipes and notes in the sides of the pages. Now it's yours for Zenobia. Solara opened it and touched her mother's handwriting. One note said, add love always. Memories filled her mind. Happy kitchens from her childhood, full of laughter. Her parents' dreams were in every dish. Thank you, Nana, Solara whispered, hugging the book to her chest like it was magic. It connected her to her roots, stronger than any betrayal. This was a treasure Kieran and Lilith could never take away. Zenobia kicked inside her belly as if she understood. She knows, Solara said with shining eyes. This is for her. The friends kept talking. their words flowing like the river outside. "We'll work with schools," Corey suggested. "We can teach kids about how healthy food and running a business," Jasper added, "and have events and pop-up food stalls at festivals," someone said. "We'll show all of Savannah what these kids can do." Esther chuckled. "Solara, you're making waves. Your parents would be so proud." Solara nodded, seeing her future clearly. She dreamed of a big network of strong young people, with her restaurant as the heart of it all. Zenobia would grow up surrounded by this joy. She remembered Kieran's cruel words, "You're too soft," and Lilith's jealousy, calling her leftovers. Those insults had only made her stronger. She had ignored their last pleas, and now their silence was just part of the past. Savannah had chosen her side. People were supporting her more and more. Bookings were full and excitement was in the air. When night came, they went to the balcony. The city lights sparkled below, and the starry sky stretched above like a giant painting full of dreams. Solara leaned on the railing, feeling Zenobia's little kicks. "We did it, baby," she whispered. "A new life just for us." Esther came to stand beside her, putting an arm around her shoulders. "You're a force, child. Betrayal tried to make you small, but you shone brighter." Corey and Jasper stayed inside, laughing together. Their voices made the night feel safe. Solara raised her glass again and made a silent toast to the stars. "To Zenobia, the dawn and hope, the perfect name. She's a symbol of starting fresh." Later, they said goodbye. Jasper told her gently, "Rest up. Big day tomorrow. More classes." Corey winked. "And pie for the road." Esther hugged Solara tightly before leaving. "You're my heart, Solara. Keep shining." When Solara was alone, she walked to the nursery with the cookbook in her hands. She sat in the rocking chair and turning the pages, imagining Zenobia's tiny hands stirring batter one day. The betrayal from Kieran and Lilith had been like a fire that burned away her illusions, leaving her stronger than before. Kieran and Lilith were now just faded ghosts. Her future was bright, full of people who loved her and chose her every day. Under Savannah's beautiful starry sky, Solara felt peace in her heart. Zenobia's kicks were like a promise. She had turned pain into power and betrayal into a light that would guide her. The future was hers to create, full of flavor, family, and endless hope. Solara's story doesn't end here. Her victory inspires others. Where are you reading this from, and what time is it where you are? Think about your dreams. What is your victory from hard times? Solara Jackson's journey in Savannah, from being betrayed at a family barbecue to starting Lena's Kitchen, shows the power of never giving up. While pregnant with Zenobia, she faced her husband Kieran and her adoptive sister Lilith's plan to steal her restaurant and Esther's estate. But instead of giving up, she used their lies to build something better. With Jasper, Corey, and Esther by her side, Solara created a community kitchen that taught young people how to cook and dream big. She made a legacy of love and strength. Her story reminds us all that we can rise from the ashes. What part of Solara's fight touched your heart the most? Have you ever been betrayed but found a way to make a better life? Tell your story in the comments and share where you are reading this from. Thank you for joining Solara's journey. Your support makes her path shine even brighter. Stay with us for more stories of courage. We'll meet again under the next starry sky.